Hello, I'm your host, Lamar L.A. Smith, and we're back again this week with the second 380 podcast. Last week was our first, and you know our co-host.
Oh, Aaron Porter, as always here.
Yeah, so today we're going to give you some of the hottest topics in sports, as usual. And the first thing we're going to talk about, we love our basketball here at 380. We're going to talk about the Melo trade. So what you think?
I think you have three ball dominant players on one team, and I don't really see how that will coexist for a season. For an All-Star game, perfect. For the Olympics, great. For 7 months, don't really see how that's going to work, especially with Russell Westbrook being the type of player that he is. I really don't see him relinquishing anything to those two players when he had a top three player on his team, and he wouldn't relinquish it to him. So maybe he's learned from his mistakes, but it looks good. It looks like a great all-star team. Do I think it'll work? Do I think they would win the Western Conference? No.
Not at all.
Do I think they will be fun to watch? Yes. But do I think it'll be a lot of figuring stuff out?
Of course.
Yes. Do I think Russell has the leadership ability to bring it all together? I don't know. It's very debatable. So it looks nice. The names sound great. Russell Westbrook, Paul George, Carmelo Anthony will actually fit on the floor. I'm saying no. I would say they may second round of the playoffs. But that's just my opinion. I think Russell's a great player, but I don't know if he's going to be able to bring it all together for these guys to work.
I think it's just an interesting fit in general. I'm gonna tell you this, right? I told you the story before the show. Had this friend named Rodney, right? Back in DC. Rodney, one of my best friends, hands down, right? Known Rodney since he was in the 9th grade.
Okay.
2 years older than Rodney. Rodney told me, I would say around late May, early June. He said Paul George is going to OKC.
Really?
I was like, you're drinking, you're smoking. I don't know what hallucinogen you're on, Rodney, but they're not going. He's not going to OKC. Not at all. He's either going to go to LA or the Pacers going to just keep him and then try to trade him mid-season. Doesn't make sense. He says no. He's going to OKC. So I'm telling you, Sam Presti's going to find a way.
Was he just saying that, or was he like believing what he was saying?
He said it with conviction. I'm telling you.
Really?
Yeah.
He's a prophet.
He sounded like he hit something, but Rodney definitely didn't hit nothing. Rodney not one of them type of cats. So I'm telling you, he said it with conviction. I was like, that's not going to happen, Rodney. I'm at my job. July 1st hits. Get an alert. While all the students are sleeping, I'm like, Paul George going to OKC? And he gets traded for Sabonis and Oladipo?
Nothing.
Has to be a fairy tale. Has to be a fairy tale. Couldn't be real. Rodney texted me. I told you. I was like, what? How did you know this? I was like, okay, Rodney, that was a flash in the pan. That was luck. Rodney tells me 2 weeks later, Melo's going to OKC. I'm like, Rodney, what are you talking about? He said he's going to go to OKC. It was like, no, he's either going to go to Cleveland or Houston. But he's probably
banking on Houston.
He's probably going to go to Houston. Everyone was banking on Houston.
I think it's a better fit down there.
Yeah, it's a better fit. He's naturally just the 3, or he could play the 4 whenever he wants. You have Chris Paul and James Harden, and literally all he would have to do is catch the ball and shoot.
That's all you got to do.
And if he wants isolation, he literally wouldn't even have to hold the ball more than like 3 seconds. It's like catch, boop, boop, pull up. Catch, boop, boop, go to the basket. So I was like, that's not going to happen. No way it was going to happen.
It happened.
Then, you're right, it happened. Then we get down to later on, closer to when he's about to get traded. So he's about to get traded. He told me this several times before we even get to this point. See alert that OKC is now on his radar. I'm like, it can't happen. Rodney tells me it's going to happen. Then I get the alert the next day. He gets traded for in his cancer. Rodney is a prophet. And if Rodney would have got the Dwayne Wade prediction right that we're going to talk about later in this show, I literally would have stopped. I would have quit my job.
Here's my problem with OKC. If there's a problem to have, where was this sense of urgency to try to keep Kevin Durant around?
I don't know.
Why do you all of a sudden have a sense of urgency after he's gone?
The owner must have told Sam Presti, "Hey, cuz, if we don't do well next couple years, you out of here."
I mean, but I just don't get you. You're doing everything you can think of.
Something must have happened
to do, but you could have kept this. You could have put a better team around the two players you had.
You know what I think part of it is too. They feel the pressure because they know they're like this close. They're like this close from irrelevancy, like not being relevant at all. Because Russell Westbrook, he got the offer. He's had this offer for 2 months. Did not sign it.
Yeah.
Just signed it. So they're like, man, we need to contractually keep him here. Because you never know with athletes. People's minds can change all the time. You want to contractually make sure he's here. Mm-hmm. Because if something don't go right, Russell gone.
Yeah,
Russell gone.
But like you said, now he's at least still here for the next 4 to 5 years. The fit on the court, I want to see what it's going to look like. You have Carmelo, who can score, still with the best of them, in my opinion. Not too much of he's a almost defensive liability. You have
Paul James Harden, though.
Yeah, you have Paul George, who I'm a fan of Paul George. I really like Paul George's game. I don't know how it's going to mesh with. He was a ball dominant player in Indiana. So is he? I mean, he could, of the three, he can probably play off the ball the most or the best. But I don't know what it's going to look like. I don't know how Russell's going to change his game, if he's going to change his game. I don't know how the coach is going to plan for it. It's very interesting. But you had said something a couple of days ago, how you said that the OKC starting five every night. This is what you said. You said that they have the best starting five in the NBA. Do you still stand by that egregious comment you made a couple days ago? Because that was one of the worst things I've ever heard you say in my life.
Wow, man. We've known each other for 3 years. That says a lot.
That was an awful comment.
That says a lot. All right. I'm telling you, until you pose the question, because it's obviously is a big elephant in the room, Golden State, the defending champions. I was like, I can see how you're saying. But since I'm a man of conviction, I'm going to stand by that statement.
So you think they have the best starting five lineup in the NBA?
Because I'm a man of conviction, I will stand by my statement.
Because it's better than Golden State, starting five-wise.
Arguably.
He's smoking something.
It's definitely an argument.
It's not an argument.
It's not clear-cut.
It's not an argument.
It's not clear-cut.
Here's my problem with what you said with that whole situation, is that we've known each other for 3 years.
Yes.
You have never once said anything about Paul George being better than Klay Thompson. All of a sudden, you have Paul George being a better shooting guard than Klay Thompson. He's the best 3-and-D player we have almost ever seen in this NBA. I don't get the Russell, Steph, okay. You can have me there. The small, Wash, like you said about it. The small forward is not even a debate. Who's better? I don't see how you could say that with have conviction. Like, you lying to people. You lying to yourself. But where do you think they would go? Do you think they'll be a top 4 seed? How do you think it's gonna fit on the floor? I think the biggest thing is Russ. Can he change his game to fit having two all-stars on his team?
I think easily, just on talent alone, the top 4 teams, like no one else is going to get home court besides these 4 teams, barring injuries. Golden State, San Antonio, Houston, OKC.
Okay.
No one else is going to get home court advantage. Those are the 4 best teams, barring none. Just too much talent in order to bridge the gap. Now, Minnesota, they have a lot of young talent, but Jimmy is teaching a bunch of puppies how to win.
I think they'll be in the playoffs, though.
They'll definitely be in the playoffs, but they're not going to get home court.
Okay.
And I think that the question that you posed, or the statement that you posed about them maybe not getting past the second round, I agree. Just because it's so loaded, so it's literally whoever you get matched up with. Depending on your matchup, will depend on if you get to face Golden State.
I think
Golden State is going to be in the conference finals.
I think this is a 1-year thing because I think Paul George is going to LA. I don't see him staying in another small market in his career. I don't see it. He didn't want to be in Indiana.
It's hard for me to disagree with you because I do, like, it took me like 2 years to finally agree with you. But I think Paul George just really has his heart set out on LA.
Yeah, I think that's just where he wants to be.
I really think he has his heart set out on LA.
This is a 82-game season.
Yeah.
He's going to live in a hotel.
But at the same time,
he's not even renting. He's going to stay in a hotel. Because he's not. He's leaving.
But at the same time, I feel like certain situations have a funny way of changing your mind.
That I agree with.
At the same time, right? we know that Dwayne Wade, like you said, we want to talk about later in the show. He loves LeBron James. That's his boy. Even if he wanted to play with LeBron again, did you think he ever thought about going to Cleveland? Dude has lived in Chicago and Miami. Two really big markets his whole life. Basketball-wise, financially, and economically, and socially. But he chose to go to Cleveland. That got to be a whole lot of love. No disrespect to Cleveland, but that got to be a whole lot of love for someone who used to the prime time to go to Cleveland to play with his boy.
I agree.
So his boy had to be that good, which he is. And he had to have that much love, which he does. So depending on the situation, because Russ, at least you know, he's under contract. Paul George has never, ever played with someone on the talent level of the two guys he's about to play with.
That's very true.
Sometimes that changes your mind on things. I do think he probably will be a 1-year rental, but we'll see. It'll be interesting. I don't think they'll beat Golden State because depth-wise, when you go to the bench, it's just going to be eradication. But close. It will be eradication. But I think they have enough talent, and I think Billy Donovan is a good enough coach for the series to be competitive. They won't win?
But will they allow?
Not at all.
See, my thing with it is, will they allow themselves to be coached? Because this is his second year.
Donovan?
Billy Donovan.
It's third.
It's his third year. I'm sorry, his third year here. But I don't think he did anything different from when he had Kevin Durant than what Scotty Brooks was doing. Schematically, I don't think they had a different offense that they ran that was so like, oh, I trust him to do something with talent. If like you had 2 top 5 talents in the prime, now you have a 33, 34-year-old Carmelo and Paul George, who, you know, coming off the injury, is getting back to his form. I want to see what he would do and how they will listen to it, because Russ is an interesting player to say the least. I don't know if he's going to be able to be coached like that.
I agree with his style of play, like far you said, as far as him willing to be coached and stuff like that. But I would say the thing that it wasn't obviously no super duper changes, but I think the changes that he made that helped that team, one, he wasn't like running them out of the gym, far as like more so their stamina, far as like logging too many minutes. That's one problem that Scott Brooks has, even in DC. He basically runs kids out of breath.
Yeah.
And two, he staggered their minutes, so one of them will always be on the floor, which Scotty Brooks was always reluctant to do, which helps because their bench was boo-boo. So
we'll see.
I think it'll be interesting, like we said. Definitely have many more conversations about this. Yeah, but I think the trade definitely helps the franchise way more than it looked, because obviously last time we talked about this, they were going to lose in the second round. Like,
I still hadn't lose in the second round.
No, but I'm saying like they didn't have no chance.
Yeah,
no chance.
Yeah, I give you that.
Melo at least gives them a chance.
He does. It'll be very interesting to see. Yeah, I'm interested to see what's going to happen.
All right, let's get to our next topic. So our next topic, we'll be talking about Pitino Firing. So, you know, in NCAA, they had this, you know, funny way of wording things. Indefinite leave of absence.
Yeah. Gone.
We're not stupid. We know what that means. You know what that means.
He's fired.
He's fired. He even told his coworkers, I'm probably going to be gone. So, you know, if you got any leftover cheesecake for me, if you got any, you know, memorabilia,
any
cards. If you got a heartwarming picture of me and you taking a picture at a basketball game or something, keep it. To remember me by.
That's the last
one you're going to have.
In the state of Kentucky.
Yeah. So he's bye-bye. So what you think about that?
He's been in the news a lot the last 1.5 years, 2 years. What I would say about this incident is that they're not the only school. And this is going to make a lot of schools clean up. I know they talked about, I think Arizona has been like another team that was given 6-figure salaries to student athletes. So they're not the only school. I think everyone cheats, if I'm really being honest with you. Everyone cheats, not everyone gets caught. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying, is what most have said about the NCAA. So I don't think they're the only school, but Louisville, I've heard death penalty thrown around. I've heard a lot of different things that can happen to them. It's unfortunate because they are a really good basketball program, one of the at least top 10 programs we probably have in the country. And so, but Rick Pitino has, I mean, he's just, I don't know what happened what happened to them. And because the thing with it is that it's tied into these billion-dollar shoe corporations as well with Adidas, Arizona's with Nike. So if you think those are the only two schools that was doing this, I think you'll be sadly mistaken to think that way. But I think it was the firing was necessary, and I don't know if he'll ever coach again. I don't know if he'll ever have a chance to coach again. You know, like he said, he's been in the news a lot. Louisville's been in the news a lot these last at least 2 years, 2.5 years. So I don't know if he'll coach again, but I think the firing was right, and we'll see. Hopefully they don't. You know, you don't want to see a program get lost like that, but there's everybody better clean their act up because everybody's cheating. And you better clean it up. You better just confess and say something now before they find it. But he's known as Coach 2 in the documents by the FBI, and his name is repeated like 9 times. Dude, you knew what was going on. And I think him being so like he lied so it was too cool. Like he lied and like didn't even budge. Like that's a problem. Like that's a real problem that. It was such an easy lie for him to say that this wasn't happening or I didn't know. You knew exactly what was going on. And that's the problem that you have with all of these in athletics and amateur athletics. So, I mean, you kind of get what you deserve in a way, but everybody's cheating. Everybody's cheating, Lamar. Everybody cheats, man.
We talked about this a little bit yesterday, but I differ in a way. I feel like everyone has cheated now. I don't think, are they still cheating? Certain situations, I don't think it necessarily considers. Though I do find funny that out of all the programs, everyone was being named. They were naming ADs. They were naming people with different affiliations with these programs that they had on the list with this scandal that they're still investigating. He was the only coach named. So you're telling me Sean Miller wasn't named. Nor was any other high-profile coach was named on that list that coach at these fairly high-profile schools that I would say. Arizona's pretty high-profile.
That's a basketball program.
Yeah, that's a basketball program. That's a basketball school. So how is he the only one named? It's like sometimes, I say this jokingly sometimes, but I do believe it. When you tell yourself something enough times, you start to believe it.
That's definitely true. Oh, yeah.
So let's say like if I said, hey, I'm a racehorse. You just...
That's a little outlandish.
I know, but I'm saying like we're in Kentucky. Let's say if I told myself for a whole week I'm a racehorse. If you see my dumb butt galloping across campus, you gonna be like,
it's because your conviction.
You like he really think he a racehorse. And I think that's what Pitino. I don't know if he did. I'm not about to accuse anyone of anything. All I'm saying is, for example, let's say he did know about the hookers. He told himself every day before they interviewed him, I don't know about the hookers. It was prep. I don't know about the hookers. And as a result, he didn't know about the hookers.
It's bad all around. I feel bad for the program. I really do because, that's a...
they done.
That's our rival school, and, you don't want to see a death penalty thrown out. But when you're doing something that egregious, and you can say everyone's cheated, I think everyone cheats, man. It's too much money there. It's just too much money to be made. It's just too many opportunities. You're trying to get the best of the best to come to your school, no matter how prominent you are in the industry and with your school program, with your basketball program. You're trying to get the best of the best to get to your school. You're going to do whatever you can. College basketball it's one of the biggest sports in this country. And if you really think that there's a clean program out there, they're not good. Like I just don't see a program that is not doing something. Now that could just be me, thinking everything's bad in the world. But I don't see too many programs that are just not doing anything. They're doing something illegal or something wrong. That could come up in an investigation. So I don't think Louisville's the only school. I
feel you at the same time. Like I do think this will make schools more conscientious about what they're doing. Like stop, standing around and just doing whatever. They'll be more conscientious about the moves that they make. But at the same time, I do believe, like, no, I know you're gonna disagree with me because we had this conversation yesterday a little bit. Certain coaches, I feel like, what do you need to do? Like, you don't need to do anything. Like Coach Kyle, I'm talking about specifically I know what you're about to say. We talked about that one and not done, 30 for 30. But the problem was he had the clout. He didn't have the program, like the market far as. He has Kentucky. People generally are going to want to play for the school regardless, and they want to play with him because they know they're going to go to the league. So what did he have to do? Coach K, for example. Coach K has a, cleaner, like, he's like the angel-esque of coaches, college coaches. That's everyone's boy. Coach K. What does Coach K really have to do? People want to go to Duke. Duke has like a whole lifestyle. It's like a whole image. It's like everyone has like the same haircut. All right. Remember the Duke starting five, then when they won the championship, right? Everyone in starting five had the same haircut, same way they carry themselves. Just, real class personified. Even if you think about Christian Laettner, everyone. Same suit, basically.
Got a question for you. If there was something
you don't need to do nothing.
If there was something you could do and not get caught, if you could take $5 from me every day and I wouldn't notice, would you not take the $5 every day?
See, I feel you. But
would you take the money? Yes or no?
I don't know. I'd be skeptical
That's
of it.
That's a line. You're not telling me. You would take the money because you know it's not going to happen to you.
Hold up. I'm skeptical of that because this. This is the truth. You know how I am. I'm a brand. I got to protect the brand. So if it's going to be detrimental to my brand, I'm very skeptical.
If you know you could cover it up, would you not do it?
I don't know. I like $5, but I like my brand a whole lot better.
Lamar, I'm telling you. They just didn't think they would get caught.
I feel you. I understand that.
And if you can cover it up,
I understand.
I
understand that thinking, but most decisions, if they in the gray, I choose to go the other way because I got to protect the brand.
Okay, that's you.
That's just how I look at it.
I feel like. Do you think they'll lose the program? You think the death penalty will be something that they?
That's a
lot.
It's a possibility. If not, they lose scholarships. Like
they don't have a program.
It's talking about future scholarships. Like
SMU went through that in the '80s when SMU had the big scam, and they've never been the same since.
Scholarship left and right.
It took everything.
The whole team gonna be walk-ons.
Hey, me and you could go play for Louisville.
Yeah.
In our last semester of school.
If you already thought the gap was big, they lost Pitino. What coach is gonna come in now? Because the only advantage that they had really was their coaching was pretty equitable. Mm-hmm. They lost that.
You talking about in regards to Kentucky?
As far as Kentucky and Louisville in the rivalry.
That's washed. It's over.
That's literally like a freight train running over a tricycle. That's probably how it's gonna be for the next decade.
Yeah.
A big train running over a defenseless tricycle. I feel sorry for those people.
Every year for the next 10 years. Sorry, Louisville fans. So sorry for you. Not really, but sorry for you.
In the kindness of my heart, it goes out to you, but that's about it.
That's about it, yeah.
I agree.
It.
But let's get to baseball real quick. So, I'm going to introduce our guests, see if they have anything to say besides me and Aaron on this. They'll be here for the next segment after that for our 380 breakdown, our new segment. But we have Locke.
How you doing?
And we have Marquel.
What's up, everybody?
So for baseball, you have Aaron Judge, who we talk about this all the time. He's a freak.
He's pretty good. Man amongst children.
He all right.
He's a freak.
He all right.
Dude hit his 51st home run yesterday. Had another RBI today. The Yankees won 4-0. Do you think that he'll have any type of impact? Well, all right, that's redundant. How big of an impact do you think he'll have on their postseason push?
If he passes his drug test, then he's going to have a real big impact. He's going to be there.
You need to start joking about this.
That's a good point. That's a good point. That's a good point.
He jokes about this a lot. All right, y'all. He thinks Aaron Judge is dope. I tell him he's not. He's not.
I agree with
He's
you.
6'7", 282.
What that mean?
He doesn't have to dope.
How big was Barry Bonds?
All right, that's a totally different animal.
How's it different?
Barry Bonds was big, but he wasn't Aaron Judge.
How big was he?
I don't remember off the top of my head.
That's not a small human being.
Not at all.
He's not, but I'm saying.
I'm not saying he's doping to get the power. I'm saying he's doping to keep the power up.
I don't think he's doping, man. Don't play with him like that. Maybe. I'm not surprised. So you think Gene Carlos-Santa doping too?
I don't know what that is. So.
Yes.
Yes, he is.
Yeah. sorry.
So, far as baseball, what do you guys think about how you think the playoffs going to turn out? Do you think anyone is going to knock off the Dodgers?
Oh, can I? No. As the team I picked last week, I have the Dodgers going the whole way. So I don't think anybody's going to knock them off, if you want my 2 cents in it.
I'm going with Washington, man.
They played the Cubs in the first round, right?
Yeah, they play the Cubs.
You taking them over the Cubs?
I believe Washington, this is their year. They're getting there. The Cubs, they're going to slip up. They're going to give them it.
That's debatable.
I'm not
Lamar.
going to say it's going to be a series. It's going to be good. But I'm going to take Washington.
You want Washington 5 and go the whole way?
I like it. Washington 5. I like it.
Washington 5. All right, I'm from D.C., as we all know. I wear D.C. in my sleeve. I'm probably one of the most proud D.C. people you know. I call people out constantly on this campus about being from D.C. Because everyone want to be from D.C. that's close to D.C., but they don't be from D.C. That's a whole different conversation, folks. But I don't think they're going to do it. I don't know. It just this pessimism has seeped in because every time they just take your heart, snatch it out, let it go, bum 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 bum.
I know.
And then they step on it. Last year, Max Scherzer, he gives up 1 home run. He pitched no-hit ball until that 1 home run. What they do? Oh, we take him out. Next thing you know, they score about a couple runs in that inning. Then we in a situation at the end of the game, Kenley Jansen has thrown 50 pitches. He got.
It's all right, man. It's all right. It's all right.
Dude pitched over 2 innings, and they couldn't get any runs. His arm, I'm surprised his arm wasn't falling off. A closer pitched that many pitches in innings. Didn't work. Then Clayton Kershaw, on virtually 0 rest, came in and pitched the last out on Daniel Murphy, and Daniel Murphy couldn't do nothing. So just always find a way, no matter how good they look. I remember 2012, Drew Storm. This is why I don't like Drew Storm, just because there's one moment as a fan, from a fan standpoint, not a journalist one. Drew Storm, 3 different times, full count, 1 pitch, you go to the NLCS, running, another run.
Another one, which was another run. And he literally sunk us to the bottom of that shit. So even knowing that and knowing the whole thing about, Bryce Harper, he's coming back. He doesn't have that much wear because he's just coming back off the DL. Daniel Murphy's playing well. Ryan Zimmerman act like this is the first time he ever played baseball. He look like a totally different man right now. I don't know who he is. I don't know who he is. Somebody else. Max Scherzer dealing. Steven Strasburg, his elbow's working. And Gio, he's dealing. So even with that, Locke, do you think that they really going to beat the Cubs? Because the Cubs, they just done enough to get the playoffs. And sometimes in the playoffs, things change.
I'm one of them guys. I believe in one-year wonders or, the anomaly happening. Currently, NFL-wise, a lot of teams that aren't that good in the past are doing good, or they're making that push to be good. I feel like this is what Washington is doing this year. They're going to get that push. Bryce Harper is coming back at the crucial time of the year. If they can just put the pieces together, the chemistry's there, they can do it. In 5, they can do it.
All right.
That's a lot. I'm so sorry. We talked about this last week. I think experience plays a big factor, and the Cubs have it, and they got that experience. They got that mojo. They know how to get it done. They can go into your arena. They can go into your stadium. They can beat you in your stadium. They were down 3-1. This ain't no average team. This ain't no regular team. This was a team that was down 3-1 in the World Series. This is not your average team. So I do think Dodgers win. I do think Dodgers win, but I think the Cubs will get past the Nationals in this round, just because, the Nationals, they're like that. They're that team that they get you here, and they know they got you here, and they're like, let's just go back to where we need to be. And I think something will happen, although I like the Nationals. But I like the Cubs, man. I do like the Cubs to at least win that series and stuff like that.
All right. This is going to be redundant, so I'm not going to go to this because we already decided that you think that far as in the AL that the Indians are going to come through.
Mm-hmm.
I think otherwise. Part of it is my Yankee fandom. I'm not going to lie. But I do think they're serious dark horse far as to get through and get to the, World Series.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the real question is, outside of the whole playoff scene, this is the last thing I'm going to pose, far as from a pitching standpoint, you have Corey Kluber, who's been pitching really well,
Mm-hmm.
and you have Chris Hill, who's been pitching really well.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Chris Hill, lately, has not been doing that well.
Uh-huh.
Not really been looking well. And Corey Kluber, since June, has been dealing. Corey Kluber has the lowest ERA in the AL. Also has the most wins in the AL. Team is hot. Just came off a 22 games streak.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna lie. My AL Cy Young is Kluber, the Kluber. Other people think Sale. They go with longevity. He has 4 more starts. Dude has over 300 Ks. Do you think Sale is gonna get it?
That's a good question. It depends on what they're looking for. If they're looking for the longevity, you can't go against Sales. If you're looking for who's been hot the last, 3-4 months? It was just since June. You could not go with Kluber. So I think it'll be depending on what. If I had to pick though, you know what? I think I would go with Kluber. I would go with him. He's been hot since June, the lowest ERA, like you said, in baseball practically. I would think I would go with Kluber just because he was very instrumental as well in that 22-game win streak too. So I would go Kluber. I'm guessing you're saying Kluber too?
Kluber all the way.
I think I'll go Kluber as well.
All right, so we introduced our guests. They put their little 2 cents into the baseball segment. We have Marquell again, and we have Locke. This segment is dedicated just to them. So I'm going to give you a little background on it, quick spiel. We were joking around in our study room talking about football players, and we did the whole little Gruden camp thing, and Marquell was, the main analyst on that point. So this segment is called the 380 Breakdown. Probably going to change the name to something more catchier.
Yeah, it's not that good.
So this is the 380 Breakdown with Marquell and Locke. So I'm going to give them, a player to break down, and then we just going to let them talk. I'm just going to let them talk. So, Derek Carr.
Derek Carr. I'm a big fan of Derek Carr. Big fan. Made them big steps from his rookie year to his second year. So we see the near MVP season. Obviously broke his leg, unfortunately. Didn't see him in the playoffs. But I like him. He plays like he says his idol was Brett Favre. I see it, but I don't see that, reckless abandon like he had, to an extent. He does take his risks, but he's more calculated, obviously, because he has opportunity. But I think I like him. I think that he's pretty much on the bridge, that edge of being a top 5 quarterback in the league. I think he has, in 2 years, we're talking about him like he's the best in the league. I feel like once Aaron Rodgers kind of hits that wall, he's going to hit, as all old people do. And once, Drew Brees is not in the league anymore, whenever that's going to happen, because we don't know. He can play till he's like 45, so I don't know. Tom Brady's still going. So I think that what he does well is that he really knows how to use his arm, his velocity, and step in the throws and get him anywhere he need to go. Like the problem with him, though, is we saw against the Redskins, when they got that pressure on him, he kind of doesn't have – his feet aren't there. I'm surprised. But I think that's kind of a factor of him having such a great O-line right away, is that he really been used to having that 2-3 seconds throw the ball. And when the Redskins gave him those looks, those blitz looks, and his center was playing horribly. Rodney Hudson played a horrible game. All-pro center was snapping it high, low. I don't know how that happened. You could just tell he wasn't comfortable. If he's uncomfortable in those games when they first start, he never gets comfortable. That's his main thing. The best quarterbacks, they might get blitzed the first drive, but they're going to adjust to it. They're going to, but they're sending this, we're going to adjust to it, and I'm going to stay confident and comfortable. Carr didn't have that. Once that first quarter ended, you can almost tell, like, yeah, they got him this game. So probably let Nick take over a little bit, talk about him.
My issue with Derek Carr is also the feed. If you're Brett Favre is your idol, we're talking about a gunslinger, a guy who can move outside the pocket, make plays anywhere. You got to play like him. Derek Carr, there was many times you watch the games, but his feet look crossed, like he doesn't know how to control it, And he's not playing in Oakland. He's playing in Landover, Maryland. That's a good field. It's not part baseball, so you should have no issue with your feet. And basically, he just seemed like a whole different quarterback than what we seen last year. In reality, Kirk Cousins outplayed him tremendously. Kirk Cousins, over 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, only 5 incompletions. Derek Carr, 2 interceptions, 1 touchdown. I believe less than 200 yards. That's not what we've seen from Derek Carr. That's not what we're used to. The Redskins don't have that dominant of a secondary to stop you like that. Now you can also make a claim that with the receivers, one of Lamar's favorites, Krabby Patty, Michael Crabtree, one of the most reliable guys, he dropped a few. The Raiders had a bad time. But at the same time, Derek Carr, he wants to be in the upper echelon.
Upper echelon.
Yeah. Or QBs, he got to be like an Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Drew Brees, take over games. You could be down 28-7, you still come back and make it a game. Packers were getting blown out by the Falcons. It was horrible. Aaron Rodgers kept his composure, brought him back. We still lost, but it was a close game. Tom Brady, the Texans. Tom Brady being Tom Brady, did what he did, win the game for them. Derek Carr, he's still young. He has to learn, but I really do see the Brett Favre comparison. Even a John Elway type guy. So, yeah.
All right, so our next player I want y'all to break down for me. Okay. Both of them are going to be Jaguars players. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie. All right. The first guy, Leonard Fournette. How do you feel about Fournette? How's he been playing this year? He hasn't really, been the LSU dominant guy he's been.
Of course not.
But,
not yet.
But, he said the NFL is easy, and he only has 199 yards and 3 TDs. So, when will he pick it up and look like the grown man that he played like for literally the last 3 years?
When he gets some guards and some center play, that's Fournette's game, is north-south. North-south, give him a chance to get out of the backfield without getting hit. If he doesn't hit in the backfield and you get him to that second level, he's going to run through the guys. Because we saw him play SEC teams, the best teams in the nation, best defenses in the nation, right? He's running through their 6'5", 240 linebackers and running through their safeties and running for 90 yards every single game, it seemed like. I think that just is I think that he just needs to get his guard play up. I think his vision is still kind of lacking. That was his main problem at LSU. His vision lacks when he has to run those, anything with like a pulling guard, like a zone play. He kind of doesn't really know how to find those holes when everything's in motion. When it's just north-south and it's him to just make a hole or find it and just
ISOs,
accelerate.
dives.
Yeah. And that's NFL changing away from that. That's not really the thing anymore. So he got to just grow out of that north-south thing. And just the Jaguars, I mean, when you're a number 4 overall pick on the Jaguars playing running back and you're as touted as he was, defenses know you're going to get a ball. How many carries he got getting their game? Like 26 carries a game? Something like that?
He got 57 carries, I believe.
Yeah, that's a lot. So teams know who the ball's going to. Because Blake Bortles isn't going to feel like he against the Ravens every game. So, he's not going to do that every game. So teams know who the ball's going to. And the O-line is not horrible, but it's not the best. Not what he needs to play. Not LSU O-line. I'll tell you that. So that's the main thing. The vision. And just, I don't know. I feel like he also doesn't seem as fast as he was in college. Because I thought he was going to come out to 40 run like a 4.3. I'm not going to lie. A high 4.3. I did. Because on tape, that's what he ran, a high 4.3. When he was hitting them secondaries in SEC, out on the number 1 corners in the nation, he looked like a 4.3 guy. But a 4.5, he plays more like a 4.4, 4.5. So, I don't know. Maybe he just...
Maybe he just had that adrenaline rush.
Being a grown man in college. Now you're playing against other grown men. So, that's all. I mean, when the Jaguars get better, he'll get better. Simple as that.
Listen, I'm going to keep it short and simple. Leonard Fournette is basically going to be just the same career as Eddie Lacy. You know, they're going to use him a lot. He's going to get a lot of carries, but he also going to take a lot of hits. He's going to be done by the 8. He's 22. He's going to be done by 26, 27.
Wait a minute. Hold on. I got something to say about that. Eddie Lacy?
Yeah,
He's not good.
That was disrespectful.
But I'm not talking about like, this talent-wise, Leonard Fournette is good, but at the same time, Eddie Lacy was consistent. It's the fact that now he also came in a bad year. Leonard Fournette, the Jaguars, they played the NFC West this year. You know, he still has yet to face the Seahawks, the Rams.
Yeah, true.
You know, he's going to get hit hard. You know, I can see Reuben Foster being back in the game, Alabama, LSU type stuff. You know, he's going to be hitting. And then you got that D line for the 49ers. They're young, fresh, too. They're going to be out there hitting him. Like, he's one of them running backs, you know, he's good. He can have a 10-year career, but they keep giving him 25 carries a game, stuff like that. He's going to be done. We already said it. You're bald, you have a beard in college, you're already an old man.
Yeah.
Your body's already matured. So I'm going to just keep it that simple. But comparison, he's like a Derrick Henry, but not as athletic. Derrick Henry can make plays from east to west, north to south, but Leonard Fournette, he's just got to be north-south. You got to go straight to the hall. Yeah, DeMarco.
That was interesting. That was I didn't.
All right.
I wouldn't expect myself for.
Next player in the breakdown, we got corner, Jaguar, another top pick, Jalen Ramsey. Got to do this because their defense popping right now. Defense popping.
I love Jalen Ramsey. I love him. When he came out of the draft, I thought he was the best player in the draft because I thought that he was going to be all-pro safety. Okay, he's all-pro corner. My bad. You know, he's got everything. The height, the speed. He controls himself. He tackles really good. He hits pretty good. He has the ball skills. I thought he lacked the agility, lateral movement because of his build. Prove me wrong. You know, I think that the sky's the limit. I think he's going to be, in 2 years, we're talking about it's going to be him and I say Marcus Peters as the best guys at their positions in the league at corner. His problems, I don't know. I don't think he has any problems right now. I mean, he might get exposed, you know, when his D-line is a little bit worse. You know, when he has to go on the islands against some real elite players. I think he might get caught up with those route runners, those shifty guys like the T.Y. Hilton he has played with 2 games a year, and Antonio Brown's, of course. He beats everybody. Emmanuel Sanders type players. I think that the shifty guys are going to give him trouble until he gets kind of like the way that play discipline. You can always see Sherman. He's also a taller corner, but Sherman, you know, kind of works with that and has his footwork really down to keep himself in front of those shifty guys. I think that's pretty much what Ramsey has to work on because his straight line speed is there. We know that. And his jumping ability is there. We know that. He can play press. He can play off. We know that. I think the sky's the limit. Like, you know, whatever the Jaguars want to do with him, move him around a nickel, safety, whatever, because that's a potentially, I think, defensive player of the year type of candidate player right there at some point.
Jalen Ramsey, you know, Florida State type of guy. You know, people think I hate Florida State people. You know, they think I hate Jameis. But I really like Jalen Ramsey, you know. Like, you know, if you know me, I don't believe in shutdown corners no more in the NFL. There's good corners, but it's not no more shutdown. But this guy, he has the potential to be shut down, especially with that defense. That defense is so good and so young. It's like the Seahawks 2.0. That's what that defense really is. And like Jalen Ramsey, he can do it all. He's basically this is kind of a pull. It's like a real pull, but he's like a young Charles Woodson right now. He can cover. He can play the zone. He can blitz. He can do it all.
Now that's a Hall of Famer you can put.
I know. That's
University of Michigan Heisman Trophy.
I know. But it's just like
that's a stretch.
It is, but gaming wise, he has the ability. The Hall of Famers believe in Deion Sanders. Even said this guy is good. Deion's one of the best at it. Deion don't say that about a lot of people. Jalen Ramsey, you know, the sky is the limit for him. But at the same time, only time can tell, you know, there's players that are dominant for a certain time, like Nnamdi Asomugha. But then they leave, they get the money tossed to them.
Lose the system.
Yeah.
They decline. But hopefully it's not Jalen Ramsey. Hopefully he is like a Charles Woodson. You know, you lead the system, and maybe be even a better system for you when you're older that fits your scheme. When you're older, you're slower. You know, you just know play recognition, stuff like that. But yeah, Jalen Ramsey, that's a bad man.
Okay, we're going to do, a quick run through of college football. And this run through of college football, we're not going to try to keep you too long. We got to do this because Aaron here. What we looking like with Michigan?
Hey, man, I'm confident now. Got John O'Corn. He's the future. Our defense is got to be one of the fastest defenses in the country. They look great. Devin Bush will be an All-American. I don't know about
I like Devin Bush.
Devin Bush reminds me of
South Florida player.
He reminds me.
Guy represents South Florida. That's a Flanagan guy right there.
He's in on every play. He's got the most sacks in the Big Ten right now.
Yeah, if you take his number off his jersey, he's going to stand out on the tape regardless.
Yeah, the dude, and he's a sophomore.
You know what I see? I see Jalen Smith in Notre Dame. He just, when the play happens, he there to end it.
Yeah. Devin Bush has to be one of the best linebackers in the game. Our defense is, well, at least in the Big Ten, our defense is stout again. Our offense looked very good against Purdue once John O'Corn came in the game. I hope and I wish the best for Wilton Spate, but I think John O'Corn has better mobility. He can move out the pocket. I think he just needs repetition with the first-team guys, which is what they've been doing all week because they have a bye week this week. We don't play Michigan State until next Saturday. So I'm hoping Harbaugh changes it and puts in O'Corn. I think you put in O'Corn, you have a better chance in winning the Big Ten because quarterback play in the Big Ten is pretty average outside of Penn State and their quarterback. It's pretty.
When he gonna find a new Andrew Luck? Man? When he gonna find a quarterback?
Dude, I'm telling you. Well, let me tell you now.
Let me know.
Brandon Peters, remember that
Brandon
name?
Peters?
Avon, Indiana. Brandon Peters. Brandon Peters will be the next great Michigan quarterback. Mark.
You think so?
Okay. 100%. Saw him in high school. When he was in high school for 4 years, he's gonna be the next great one. So,
okay.
But I'm very confident in Michigan. I still think we'll be fine, and I think we'll be right there at the end for the Big Ten championship.
Good.
Okay. Now, since we gave you your Michigan FaceTime,
Thank you.
it's two matchups that I'm looking at that possibly can be very interesting. Mm-hmm. One matchup is Auburn versus Mississippi State in Auburn. Mm-hmm. That's going to be on ESPN tomorrow. And you also have a matchup that has USC, Sam Darnold.
Uh-huh.
Funny, I read a feature story on him in sports reporting class a couple days ago. I feel like my teacher was reading my mind because we talked about Sam last week.
We did.
USC versus Washington State. Big Pac-12 matchup, too.
I almost want to call an upset.
I want to call it, too.
That's a good team. That's a good team. They're ranked 16th in the country. It's a top 25 matchup. Washington is that's a good team. They're a well-coached team. Sam Darnold has thrown, I think, 2 picks in at least every game they played this year. So now you want to talk about a gunslinger who reminds me of Brett Favre. He reminds me of a young Brett Favre. So if there was an upset to pick this week, I think I'm gonna go on a limb. I'm gonna say Washington State gets the victory over USC.
Though, let me say one thing real quick before you guys get started. Sam Darnold, when you think about it, Sam Darnold came in as relief. Not that he's a pitcher, even though he's crazy talented. We'll talk about Sam Darnold a different day. But dude had 9 picks all of last year. 9 picks, 31 TDs.
He's got 6 right now.
And he was balling. He had 7.
I'm sorry.
He was balling. So what about this year is different? Is it you think the receivers?
That's easy to me.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the receivers dropping passes and stuff like that. But outside of just that, which is the first thing that caught my eye, what do you think that's different?
The first thing is that we haven't had a great USC quarterback in 10 years.
Very true.
And that's like a Dallas Cowboy. It's like being covered for the Dallas Cowboys. And so he has pressure on him he probably wasn't expecting to have. Number 2, you have tape on him. He came out of nowhere. You now have they play what? He started 11 games, 10 games last year, something like that. He came in the third, 10. Second or third game.
So he's 9-1 last year.
Teams have tape on him now. He's got the pressure of being USC's quarterback. Matt Larner was literally the last great quarterback we've seen from that school. And when you have more pressure on you,
he wasn't even great when he got a league.
Yeah, but he was great in college. But when you have that much pressure on you,
don't forget about Matt Barkley. Matt Barkley was all right.
When you have that much pressure on you,
you do stuff like staying an extra year when you are a first round pick. And
And
draft stock fall.
And USC hasn't been this good in a very, very long time. I mean, USC is back in the conversations being a top 5 power school again. So I think the pressure living up to what you did last year, because what he did last year, especially in the Rose Bowl, I don't think you'll ever. That was one of the best performances that we've talked about. This we've seen in college football. Period. That dude just put on a clinic in that game. So I think it's a combination of those three things: it's the pressure, being great at USC, trying to put them back on the map in relevancy. And teams have tape on him now. And you know what you can look for. You know what to look for last year. So hopefully he develops something. I do think he'll stay another year. I don't think he'll leave after this year just because I think he needs one more year as a starter. But those are the things I would say are the problems.
They winning.
They're winning, but it's not. It's like the year, and I like Jameis, but it's like Jameis's last year. They were winning, but boy, was it ugly. Every game was ugly. And they got to that college football playoff, and it showed that they were not the team they were the year before. So I hope. I mean, he still went top 2, but I think Sam may stay another year just to get some more.
He needs to leave. This is how you bring other players' draft stock up. Now, Jameis Winston, we just talked about it. They got smashed in the college playoff against who?
Oregon.
The guy who went right after him, Marcus Mariota. You don't want that to be you, Sam Darnold. Right now, you're in the same position as Matt Barkley. They have you on draft boards. The first overall pick, I say you leave and go sign your paycheck. You know, even if you don't pan out, you got that money. Don't be like Matt Barkley. Had that heart, one injury, it's all over now. But the upset, I really like Washington State. The
really
Pac-12 is trying to show people they're back. Washington State could be this year's Washington. They're trying to prove somebody wrong.
Is it in Washington or is it in you at the college?
Washington State and Washington State.
Night game? Nah, I'm taking Washington State.
That's another thing. I believe Sam Darnold can't play under pressure away. I don't think he can do it.
It'd be a good game.
We'll see.
But I do have Washington
Last
State.
note as we wrap this up. Auburn, Mississippi State. Who you got? That's the only other top 25 matchup.
Mississippi State.
I think Mississippi State going to come back after, again, they got punched in the mouth like 35 times last week.
I know. But Auburn, I don't believe them. I never have. I ain't believed Auburn since they lucked up on Cam Newton. They're overrated every single year because they're Auburn.
True.
But they never show us Auburn that we would want to see. They don't show us. They're like Tennessee to me.
Oh, perfect.
Every year
Like
we talk about them. This team is going to do this and this and that and dethrone this team and that team. And they always come up and they beat up one of the teams that are obviously worse than them because they're still pulling the best players because they're one of the best schools, prestige-wise. But it never comes all full circle. They're going to beat up on bum teams, obviously. We're going to look at them gaudy stats and say, oh, they're a good team. But when they play against people that really want to win and really aren't playing them to get paid a couple dollars, they're going to lose. I think Mississippi State is going to trying to prove something to everybody. Mm-hmm. They tried to prove something last year. They didn't really finish like they should have, but they look good. They were in a lot of games. So I think they can be Auburn.
I almost tend to agree. Auburn is extremely overrated. Like I said last week, in the last 8 years, they've only had 2 10-win seasons, and that was the pick. That was the year they went to the national championship.
Both years they went to the national championship.
Yeah, but the year they lost to Florida State that year.
And the other one, when they won.
Cam Newton's year. They've only had 2 10-win seasons in the last 8 years. Outside of that, they're an 8-5, 9-3 team.
So if they win 10 games, they're going to the national championship. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, it could be, but like I said, Auburn, they're a lot of bark, no bite. Mississippi State got punched in the mouth. So I think you get beat that bad on national television, you got to come out and show that you are, relevant. Also, with them being an SEC team, they got to come back out and show something. So I'll go Mississippi State just because Auburn is just 8-5 best. Honestly.
All right, I'm gonna wrap this up. I think they'll be decent, but I think it's a coin flip. I really don't know who I want to win, but let's get into the next topic before we get to the closing of the show. Mm-hmm. Wade and LeBron, we're brothers. We're happy and we're singing and we're brothers.
Give me a high five.
Yes, the brothers are back. They're back. At first, this story took us to Miami. The decision. I'm taking my talents to South Beach. Now, he left. Baby Bron left. Baby Bron went back home. He's coming home. He's coming home.
Let's get to the point.
let me keep my whole little lead in. Then Wade, he wasn't messing with it. Pat Riley was, the Godfather was scorned. The Miami Mafia, that didn't work out. Went to Chicago. Went back to his hometown. He thought that was gonna work. Didn't work out. Transitional year, and now the brothers are reunited again. Reunited at last, back in Northeast Ohio. How's that gonna work out?
It would have worked out great like it did 7 years ago. I don't see them doing anything of relevant. Here's the thing. Dwayne Wade's old. Let's just put it out there. He's old. He's like, we're 35. He's 35, and he can't shoot. So
hey. His 3-pointer last year.
He went like 2 months without making a 3-pointer.
That's true.
Because he wasn't taking them.
But that's a problem in this NBA. You have to take them.
Especially
this team
on Golden State.
Yeah, this team would have looked very, very good 2 years ago. 4 years ago. Oh, you put Dwayne Wade back in. Oh, this is phenomenal. Now, they're old. They're older. They have experience, a lot of experience, but they got injury-prone guys. One guy's not going to be back to at least January in IT.
You don't think the chemistry still will be there?
I think the chemistry would be there, but I don't think it'd be enough to beat a potent offense like Golden State.
Okay.
And honestly, the West is offensively
dominant.
Much better.
And I don't think Cleveland,
everybody in the East left to the West.
I don't think, and so I don't think that Cleveland has put together a nice roster to come out the East.
They have a lot of depth now. Their depth is way
deep.
better than last year. No Deron Williams coming out there killing the offense. You got Derrick Rose on the team now. You got players that actually love the basketball.
Derrick Rose, he averaged 18 points a game last year in a triangle offense that
looked more like a quadrangle.
Dumpster fire.
It was a whole
trapezoid offense, something like that.
It was awful, but I don't really have the faith in him to do anything that will be of relevancy to help them get back to where. Well, they'll get to the finals, I believe, but to win it all, I don't know. And
I thought they should target Rondo.
I would have targeted Rondo.
I think that you facilitator. That's what you need.
Floor general.
Off the bench too.
Off the bench.
It's not going to work. We all know Rondo doesn't like LeBron.
Or he probably doesn't really like D Wade for that.
Probably why he left Chicago, really.
But the reunion,
they didn't want any of them for real.
The reunion, it's a great story. It would be great to
it's gonna be fun. See those like 3 lobs or whatever. But once teams really, Dwayne Wade's 35,
going on 36.
Dwayne Wade's knees are 85. We see he's finally slowing down. Flash is finally he's
flashback.
The same person.
Flashback. And that has to be the oldest roster in the NBA. It's got to be.
Yeah,
or at least
probably
one of.
And not the oldest, one of them.
Well, one of the oldest, and that juggernaut team out in
Warriors, man.
West, man. It's everything.
Nick Young, underrated signing.
Amar Caspi, another underrated signing. That's 2 of the best 3-point shooters they added to their team this past season. So it's like, I don't see them slowing down. At least for this year, I don't see anybody beating them. Next year, the year after, well, I don't know. But there was nothing about that signing that makes me feel more confident in Cleveland. It doesn't move me to say they'll beat Golden State. Instead of being in 5, it may be in 6.
Starstruck. That's what the NBA is right now. See, people see Wade, they think this is Miami, but this is a different team. This is a different Wade.
Yeah, I totally agree.
LeBron, he's better now, but Miami LeBron, we're talking about a physical beast.
God.
Like the 2012 year when he was.
It's like he had a chip on his
2013
shoulder.
was a god. It was 27-game winning streak.
Scary.
He was hooping. He was
scary.
But now you're talking about a Cleveland team, and a main factor of that Heat team was a Chris Bosh. Chris Bosh and Kevin Love, they both offensively good, but Chris Bosh defensively is on another level to Kevin Love.
I agree.
Chris Bosh, it was times when LeBron and Wade would sit out games, Chris Bosh would just dominate because he was used to this in Toronto. Kevin Love, he got soft. Once he left Minnesota, he's not Mr. Double-Double anymore. He's just Kevin Love. He's just on the Cavs.
Not only that, Chris Bosh still – Chris Bosh, his teams in Toronto, they at least were, playoff competitive. They – even when they weren't making the playoffs because they made the playoffs twice, they were sniffing the playoffs. Mm-hmm. They were, desolate wastelands when Kevin Love wasn't there. Even when Kevin Love was there, matter of fact, his teams couldn't win 40 games.
I agree.
So I don't know. Like you said, I think defensively, it's not the same. It's not going to be the same. Big three.
No.
Even if you switch IT out for Dwayne Wade for
It's
the
the
purposes.
big LeBron and the rest of his players.
Yeah.
Kevin Love just, like you said, he got soft. I don't know what happened between. I don't know because he was fat.
He had amnesia.
Yeah, he was fat before when he was by himself, and he went to
He
Cavs and he
dominated.
was slimmed
Super
up.
slim.
And then you saw in the finals, Klay Thompson was giving him like straps, like he was a small little kid or something. He was really giving him hands, like he was small or something. And I was like, who is this person we're watching? Because it's not Kevin Love. Like Klay Thompson got in his face and he was holding him back. He couldn't advance with the ball. And I was like, you have this much size on him and you can't do that. And I think that and just his lack of like his sporadic rebounding. Some games he was dominating the ball, but other games
he got 5 rebounds.
Couldn't get the ball. He couldn't get to the ball, and then I think the finals in general kind of showed us that when that team has more than 2 players having an off game or something like that, they all just can't work together because every brick they put up, every shot Love put up seemed like it was a brick. J.R. Smith didn't hit a shot unless it was 3 people in his face. LeBron did LeBron averaged 40 because that's what LeBron does, but you can't do that by yourself.
And then Kyrie averaged 30, but that don't mean nothing when you got 3 other dudes up there averaging 20 and 30.
And we got KD on a mission, to win.
A mission
to win.
KD literally, honestly, was the best person on the floor every single night in that finals.
Best playoff performance I've ever seen, like game to game. Like he was just dominant, and he was
every
playing
game
with
30.
a confidence that I've never seen before out of him.
Defense.
That go ahead shot in the last game over LeBron where he just pulled up.
Game 3.
I couldn't.
We didn't know we had that in him.
I didn't
until you did it. We were like, dang, that's scary.
So I think that's just. I don't see them beating the Warriors at all, but yeah, I think it's just people caught up in the whole. Oh, Miami again. But these guys are older,
and they in Cleveland for a reason.
Yeah,
I do have to say though, if they are going to win this year, it's going to come down to the bench. A healthy Cleveland, if you look at that bench, that is a starting bench. You're talking about Derrick Rose, J.R. Smith, Kyle Korver, Jay Crowder, and Channing Frye. These are guys that can give you some solid minutes. They're not no Darren Williams, no Derek Williams, no Iman Shumpert. He still is on the team, but he's not going to get as much time.
He's not going to get no burn. He's not getting any burn.
We're talking about a solid team. The same thing with the Spurs. People need to watch out for the Spurs because, you have Rudy Gay coming off the bench. Rudy Gay against some people that are role players, he's going to dominate.
That's going to be easy work.
I think Cleveland has a nice bench, but I wouldn't put them past Golden State's bench. I still would take that chemistry they have and that experience. And I think we're putting a lot of
faith in old guys.
Yeah, and I just don't. It's not the wave of the NBA right now.
Yeah, people
can't
put a lot of faith in the new. They're not new guys, but they're new roster. Obviously, newer roster. There, adding the bigger names. People are gonna talk a lot. People talking about the Thunder right now. Like they're gonna do something really amazing. I don't see that happening because
I think Cleveland's better than the Thunder.
A lot better.
Yeah.
But I'm saying people are talking about the Thunder might make a run, but behind the big 3 flashy names we see,
who else?
One of them is 34, Melo.
Yeah.
Behind them, who's left? That's really going to change the tide of a finals or a conference finals or even a game to get you into the conference finals. None of them. I don't see it. Roberson is not Patrick Beverly. He's not going to do a D in 3. He's going to give you D and 12% free throw. Like he's not going to do much more than that. And Steven Adams, he's okay. Yeah, but he's okay. But Steven Adams, like he's not going to beat, Tristan Thompson or whatever, something like that when it really counts in big games like that. So, I don't see it. People just gravitate to what's happening now.
Yeah, the names.
But the reality will hit them when the Warriors are 60-something wins, dominating everybody they play. So
yeah, like you said, we're caught up in the names, but the production on the court, it looks very nice to make, billboards for. But
it's good in 2K.
Yeah, it's a great 2K, but when you look at it, D-Wade's 35. He'll be going on 36. That team's old. I just don't see mentality.
That. People believe they're going to be successful because the Celtics did it with old guys, but these are 3 of the greatest that ever played a game. They didn't fall off. Ray Allen, in reality, he didn't fall off when he went to Miami.
He just took less shots.
Yeah, that's all
he
had
just
to
took a
do.
lesser role.
Even when Paul George and KG went to Brooklyn, they were solid for those 2 years, But I think people see the Cavs can do what the Celtics did.
Paul Pierce.
But it's a difference, though. We're talking about Wade is that's a different Wade from 06 to 2012. This is a whole different Wade. It's not who we used to seeing.
That is true. I mean, I still think Dwayne Wade, a starter level talent, very comparable player. In the East, probably gonna be an all-star just because anyone could be.
Everyone's gone.
All us gonna be all-stars in the East.
We could go start for some teams in the Eastern Conference right now.
I mean, I'm just trying to sign my 10-day contract to the Orlando Magic.
Yeah, I'm waiting on my call too.
But yeah, I don't know. I think they'll be pretty competitive. But let's get to the last two segments of the day before we wrap this show up. It be like that sometimes. It's a new game, right, that we're going to play.
Okay.
One of us is going to play bad cop. Not necessarily going to tell you who that's going to be because 4 of us in this room. And one of us is going to be the good cop of the situation.
It's hot in here.
One of us is going to be the good cop of the situation. And we're going to give you a blooper, whether it be play, person, what they're doing with their lives in sports. And the response and their defense will be, it be like that sometimes. And we got to try to defend them, even though there's no reasons to defend this person in the world. So let's start.
Last weekend we saw a great game finish horribly with the University of Kentucky football team versus Florida Gators, to where the last play of the game, with less than 10 seconds left, the University of Kentucky Wildcats give up an open, free touchdown that my little 8-year-old sister could have scored to lose the game to the Florida Gators, which was why it kind of sums up Kentucky football as a whole, what we saw that game. And it was awful to see us play so hard, but have 2 bloopers like that in the game.
Yeah, the first one was in our territory. It was
on the
almost an
80-something
yard touchdown where you have 11 men and none of them can communicate to one another. Somebody's wide open by themselves on the right side of the field.
Like nobody looked over to just. Hey,
and when they
did,
they all had their hands up like, I don't know. I don't know how you got to a D1 college program if you don't know how to communicate on defense. Say, hey, go stick him, please.
The second one is more egregious to me because the field is, at this point,
11 men down on the goal line.
Yeah, and you just can't look over your shoulder and say, hey, that guy's wide open. We should probably go cover him. And we lost the game because of that. So that was disheartening. We could have been 4-0. Would have been like the first time in a long time, but
It be like that sometimes.
It's Kentucky football for you.
It's Florida. It's Florida, right? Sometimes I think in their heads, right? You tell yourself something enough times, you start to believe it. Except for it works in the opposite for Kentucky football players. They tell themselves, hey, we'll beat Florida. We'll beat Florida. They're telling themselves that so they can sleep. The competitive person in them telling them, hey, we can beat Florida. Their mama know, their granddaddy know, they going to find some way to lose to Florida. Florida can have a bunch of 3-year-old kids on the field.
They didn't?
And they're going to find and they're going to find a way to lose to Florida. It's just what they do. So
It's
it
sad,
be like
though.
that sometimes.
What's the record against Florida right now?
Like
They won
31.
how many games in a row?
31 in a row like that.
31. It just be like that sometimes.
It's sad
you know?
though, man.
Sometimes, you miscommunicate. Some of these guys, they haven't been in these situations before in their lives. Because, Kentucky, we not no football school. So they're like, man, we could beat Florida, all that adrenaline pumping.
You ain't been in a goal line position in the career before?
It be like that sometimes.
Bro.
They ain't never said, hey, guard this guy by himself in their life.
You playing football. You've done this before.
Sometimes they getting confused. They probably thought, Stoops called a timeout.
Hey, I don't even know. They Kentucky recruits. They might not play football before. I don't know. They don't be looking at football players when you're recruiting. So
not at all. That's a sad.
I don't know what they doing, but it be like that sometimes. It be like that sometimes. Now the next one we gonna pose, Locks is something about Marcus Cooper.
This sums up the Chicago Bears since the year 1990, basically. This has been the Bears since 1990, Marcus Cooper. We're talking the Bears won the game, kudos to the Bears. A good win against the Steelers, but we're talking about a block field goal. Marcus Cooper sweeps up the ball, scoops it up. He's running. All NFL players just got to stop being so cocky. He stopped at the 5 and started to walk. Who made the play? Former tight end of the 49ers, Vance McDonald, swiped the ball out of his hand before he reached the end zone, and the punter pushed it out. So instead of the Bears getting 7 points, the Bears end up getting the ball back on the 5-yard line with like 8 seconds left and only getting a field goal out of that. What can you really say about that? Like,
it be like that sometimes,
man. You get happy you won't score a touchdown. But that is the Chicago Bears are summing up for you. That's just what
I can't tell you how many times I've seen that in football.
Yeah, we've seen it a lot.
Sometimes, you just be feeling yourself. You man like, mama, I'ma score.
Personal favorite of mine, Deshaun Jackson.
I'm about to say we've seen like Pro Bowlers do this. This is not like a.
It happens, man. It just be like that sometimes.
It be like that sometimes.
it's a easy points, and the NFL has allowed touchdown celebrations now. You could have celebrated after the touchdown. They allowed that now.
They did win the game though.
That's all that matters.
That's really all that matters.
I mean, the coach can't be mad because you tell him, hey, but we won though, right?
We got the
They
dub.
try being him in the film room right now. They're going to replay that ball 100 times.
All I know is I'm eating chips and looking the other way. That's all I'm doing in the film room.
It'd be like that sometimes, man.
It's hard to be mad because you play for the Bears and your secondary already isn't that good, so they're going to cut them slack.
The last time they had a good secondary, they had Peanut and they had Tim Jennings.
Your quarterback was Jay Cutler and Russ Grossman during those years, though, so it cancels out horribly in the playoffs.
They did go to Super Bowl though.
That one time in 06 with Grossman.
They did go.
And what happened?
They lost.
Oh, yeah,
They
my
lost
bad.
to
They
one of
got
the greatest
clapped.
ever.
My bad.
Shout out to Devin
Peyton.
Hester, though.
Yeah. The U.
Had a good game against the Colts. He
They
did. The rest of the
lost.
team, not so much.
We're going to wrap up this podcast with everybody's favorite, one of my favorite segments, obviously, 380 Play of the Week. So, guys, let's go in a circle. We're going to start at Aaron, and you're going to end with your boy, L.A. Who's your 380 Play of the Week?
My 380 player of the week is none other than Mr. John O'Corn from University of Michigan. Came in after Wilton Spate got injured. 18 for 26, 270 yards passing, 1 touchdown. We scored every red zone possession we had. We were 1 for 10 before this game against Purdue. We scored 3 touchdowns in the red zone. He needs to stay our quarterback. That's my 380 player of the week, leading one of the best teams in the country right now.
It's your boy Lot. My player of the week is surprisingly a loser this week. Russell Wilson. The Seahawks offense has been suspect all year. He hasn't thrown over 200 yards. They lost to the Titans, but he showed that you need to watch out for Seattle because they're back. He went 29 of 49 for 373 yards and 4 touchdowns. That O-line wasn't there, but he made it a way to show that the Seahawks are going to be competitive this year. So watch out because I like them to win it all.
All right. My player of the week might be obvious. It's Aaron Rodgers. He's a bad man. We saw it.
Yeah, all right.
We saw the Bears kind of gave him some slack, leaving people wide open. But when you're out there and you watch your second favorite receiver basically get attempted murder out there. Devontae Adams got his head knocked off.
Prayers up for him.
Yeah, he said he feeling fine, but he ain't feeling fine.
He ain't telling the truth.
So that 4 touchdown game, 4 touchdowns, and you have under 180 passing yards. It's surgical, surgical. And I think that the Bears play like garbage, but at the same time, Aaron Rodgers, 4 TDs, 35-7 before half. What? After they delayed the game for an hour?
He didn't have to do nothing.
He's sitting there for an hour in the rain.
Bad man.
He's a bad man.
All right. My 380 Play of the Week is none other than your AL Rookie of the Year. And if I had any type of process in like this voting, he would be the AL MVP. But we'll see. It's very tight with Jose Altuve. It's that boy from the Bronx, Aaron Judge. The 6'7", 282 freak
Juicer.
with
The 6'7", 282 juicer.
with the sweet smile and says everything that's right. Dude has 51 home runs. He's been on a tear lately. He had this past week had 2 multi-home run games, both back to back in order to set the record. And dude is in his groove again. His batting average going up. His home runs going up. His RBIs going up. His team won his 90th game this year, and they back in the playoffs for the first time since 2014. So I think
Saying he's pretty good, huh?
he's pretty good.
You got 51 home runs this year?
51 home runs
That's pretty good.
and over 112 RBIs.
That's a lot.
There's something about the name Aaron. Them boys are balling this year. Judge, Rogers.
I mean, outside of Aaron Porter, Aaron is a pretty good name.
Oh. You know what, Lamar?
Aaron's a pretty good name to name your son.
It's a PG show. It's a PG show.
I'm going to keep my comments to myself.
Aaron's a pretty good name to name your son. That's all I'm saying.
It's a very great name.
Okay, that has been Inside 380 Podcast with your host, Lamar L.A. Smith. None other than we got...
Aaron Porter.
And thanks for having me, Marquel, once again. I'll be here some other time, anytime.
And your boy Lot. Gladly to be here.
And that's a wrap. We'll see you next week.